If you're over 60 and waking up at night to pee, this is exactly the video you were looking for. Because this isn't just about a quick bathroom trip, it's that moment at 2 a.m. when you wake up, get out of bed, and by the time you lie back down, your body just won't switch off again. And then it happens again at 4. And suddenly, you're starting your day already exhausted. Most people are told this is just part of aging. But that's not the full story. In many cases, the real cause isn't just the bladder, it's what's happening in your legs, your muscles, and your nervous system before you even go to bed. And that's the good news, because it means there's something you can actually do about it. In this video, I'll show you 5 simple, gentle bedtime moves that are designed specifically for adults over 60. No equipment, no stress, just practical steps you can start tonight. And stay with me, because the final move is the one almost nobody connects to nighttime urination, yet it's the one that's produced the biggest changes in studies. Let's start with number 5. Number 5, seated marching. We're starting with a move that looks almost too easy to matter until you see what the evidence says. Seated marching is exactly what it sounds like. Sit on a sturdy chair and lift your legs as though you're walking in place. It appears basic. It feels manageable. But when you repeat it consistently, what happens inside your body is remarkably effective. First, you need to understand why fluid collects in the legs during the day. When you sit or stand for long stretches, gravity pulls blood and other fluids down into the lower limbs. Veins rely on tiny one-way valves to move that fluid back toward the heart, and those valves weaken with age. By evening, many older adults notice ankle swelling and heaviness. This is called peripheral edema. Now here's the link most people completely miss. When you lie down to sleep, that pooled fluid finally redistributes. It returns into the bloodstream, your kidneys filter it, and your bladder fills faster than it would during daytime hours. In many cases, you're not making extra urine because your bladder is failing. You're producing more at night because your body is finally processing what collected in your legs while you were upright. Seated marching targets that mechanism by switching on the calf muscles before bedtime while you're still upright. The calves function like a secondary pump for circulation. Each contraction squeezes veins and helps drive fluid upward against gravity. A study in the Journal of Clinical Sleep Medicine followed 42 older adults with Nocturia and found that those who performed leg exercises in late afternoon reduced nighttime urination episodes by an average of 31% over 6 weeks. The control group, no exercises, showed no improvement. Here's how to do seated marching well. Sit toward the front edge of a stable chair, feet flat. Keep your spine tall but not rigid. Lift your right knee toward your chest as high as is comfortable, then lower it. Immediately lift your left knee the same way. Alternate in a smooth, controlled rhythm. Don't sprint. The goal is steady muscle activation, not speed. Choose a tempo that lets you feel your thighs and hip flexors engage with every lift. Start with 2 minutes nonstop and build gradually to 5 minutes. Timing matters. Do this about 4 to 6 hours before sleep so your body can process the mobilized fluid through the kidneys while you're still awake. For an extra boost, add ankle circles between marching sets. Extend one leg, rotate the foot slowly 10 times each direction, then switch sides. That adds more calf pump activation and helps shift additional fluid out of the lower legs. The key takeaway is consistency beats intensity. 5 minutes every afternoon will outperform 20 minutes once a week. Next, we step up the pumping effect by adding body weight. Number 4, standing calf raises. Seated marching helps, but standing calf raises can be even stronger for reducing the fluid buildup we just discussed. When you rise onto your toes while standing, your calves work under full body load, creating a more powerful pumping action than a seated move can provide. Researchers at the University of Toronto studied calf-focused exercise for nocturnal polyuria, the clinical term for producing excessive urine at night. The study followed 68 participants, average age 71. Half performed calf raises plus brief walking sessions in the afternoon and early evening, while the other half continued a sedentary routine. After 8 weeks, the exercise group cut nighttime urine volume by 28%. And here's the detail that changes how you feel the next day. The first bathroom trip was delayed by an average of 94 minutes. Instead of waking around midnight, many participants made it closer to 1:30 or 2 before needing to get up. An extra hour and a half of uninterrupted sleep can be the difference between dragging through the morning and feeling steady. To do standing calf raises safely, stand behind a sturdy chair or beside a wall and hold lightly for balance. Set feet hip-width apart, weight evenly distributed. Slowly lift onto the balls of your feet, raising your heels as high as you comfortably can. Feel the calves tighten. Hold for 2 to 3 seconds, squeezing at the top. Then lower slowly. Do not drop. The lowering phase matters just as much as the lift for strength and for activating the venous pump, often described as the venous pump effect in circulation discussions. Start with 10 reps if you're new, then work toward 3 sets of 15. Rest about 30 seconds between sets. Like seated marching, do this roughly 4 to 5 hours before bedtime for best results. Some people prefer 1 set each hour through the afternoon instead of doing everything at once. Both approaches can work, so pick what fits your day. Important safety note: if you have major balance problems or a history of falls, modify. Do the movement with your back against a wall for extra stability, or do a seated version with heels hanging off the edge of a step. The goal remains the same. Repeat calf activation to keep fluid moving upward. Now we shift from fluid mechanics to direct control, because the next muscle group is central to holding urine when the urge hits. Number 3, pelvic floor strengthening. You've likely heard of Kegel exercises, often discussed for women after childbirth. What surprises many people is that pelvic floor training matters just as much for men, and it becomes more important with age. The pelvic floor is a hammock-like layer of muscles spanning the base of the pelvis. It supports the bladder, bowel, and urethra. When strong, it helps you delay urination until you reach a bathroom. When it weakens, urgency, frequency, and those frustrating middle-of-the-night awakenings become more common. A major review in the Cochrane database of systematic reviews examined 21 clinical trials involving pelvic floor muscle training for urinary incontinence and nocturia. Across the combined data, people doing consistent training were 2.5 times more likely to report meaningful symptom improvement than those receiving no treatment. Another study focused on older men found that 12 weeks of pelvic floor practice reduced nighttime urination frequency by an average of 44%. Now, most people fail here for 2 reasons. They squeeze the wrong muscles, or they practice too inconsistently to build strength. Let's make this practical and precise. Step 1. Identify the correct muscles. Imagine you're trying to stop the flow of urine midstream. Do not actually practice this while urinating. Use it only as a mental cue. You should feel an internal lift and tightening deep in the pelvis. Men often describe it as gently drawing the genitals inward and upward. Women often describe a squeeze and lift sensation around the vaginal area. If your stomach is bracing, your buttocks are clenching, or you're holding your breath, you're using the wrong muscles. The action should be internal and isolated. It may be very difficult to find and require practice. Take the time you need. Step 2. Train with structure. Contract and lift the pelvic floor for 5 seconds. Then fully relax for 5 seconds. That's 1 rep. Do 10 reps in a row and repeat this sequence 3 times per day. Morning, afternoon, and evening work well. As you get stronger over the next weeks, extend the hold to 10 seconds. Optional add-on, quick flicks. These are rapid 1-second contractions repeated 10 times. They teach fast response, useful when a sudden urge appears. The beauty: you can do pelvic floor work anywhere without anyone noticing. At dinner, in front of the TV, or standing in a grocery line. The key is patience. Studies show it often takes 6 to 8 weeks of daily practice to notice major changes, so don't quit after a week. Next, we add a strategy that combines fluid control, lymph movement, and overall sleep quality in one habit. Number 2. Daily walking. Walking can sound like generic advice, but for Nocturia, it works through multiple pathways that make it uniquely powerful, and the evidence is strong. First, walking keeps the calves working repeatedly, which reduces fluid pooling in the legs. But walking adds something stationary calf work can't fully match. It stimulates the lymphatic system. Unlike blood circulation, where the heart acts as a central pump, the lymphatic system has no single pump. It depends on body motion and muscle contractions to move lymph fluid, carrying waste products and excess water out of tissues back toward the bloodstream where kidneys can filter it. Each step creates pressure changes that move lymph through vessels and help prevent fluid accumulation. A Japanese study in lower urinary tract symptoms followed over 2,000 adults aged 60 and older for 5 years. Those who walked at least 30 minutes per day had a 39% lower incidence of nocturia compared with sedentary participants. Walkers also reported better overall sleep quality and fewer daytime fatigue symptoms. A Korea study took people who already had nocturia and placed them on a structured program. After 12 weeks of walking 30 to 45 minutes daily, participants reduced nighttime bathroom trips by an average of 1.3 episodes per night. If you're waking 4 times, dropping by 1.3 can mean preserving at least one full sleep cycle. Here's how to apply it. Timing and intensity matter. Research suggests a moderate-paced walk in the late afternoon or early evening tends to work best for reducing nocturia. Aim for a pace where breathing rises and heart rate increases, but you can still talk. That intensity mobilizes fluid without exhausting you. Avoid hard walking right before bed, because exercise can temporarily increase alertness and delay sleep onset. Start from your current baseline. If you've been sedentary, 10 minutes is a meaningful beginning. Add 2 to 3 minutes each week until you reach 30 minutes or more. Outdoor walks on varied terrain recruit more muscles than a treadmill, but both options are effective. The main driver is frequency. 5 days per week outperforms 2 days per week, even if the twice-weekly sessions are longer. Now we reach the most important exercise on the list, one that retrains the bladder's signaling system itself. Number 1, bladder training combined with timed voiding. This can be a game changer. It's a behavioral exercise rather than a classic strength move, but it trains the bladder muscle and the brain-bladder connection in a way that can deliver dramatic results. A landmark University of Pennsylvania study followed more than 200 adults with nocturia and randomly assigned them to bladder training or no intervention. After 8 weeks, the training group reduced nighttime urination episodes by an average of 62%. 62%. Few medications achieve that level of improvement with so few side effects. So, what is bladder training? Your bladder is muscular. As it fills, nerve receptors in the wall sense stretching and signal the brain, creating the feeling you need to urinate. In a healthy young bladder, early signals often begin around 200 milliliters, with strong urgency closer to 400 milliliters. With age, and especially if you build a habit of urinating at every small urge, the bladder can become hypersensitive. It starts complaining when only partly full. In a sense, it learns to hold less because you never ask it to hold more. Bladder training reverses that learning. Combined with timed voiding, peeing on a schedule instead of chasing every urge, you can reduce daytime frequency and nighttime awakenings. Here's a practical plan. Week 1, keep a bladder diary for 3 or 4 days. Record every bathroom trip, the time, and roughly how much urine you passed. Many people are shocked by how frequent their trips really are. Calculate your average interval between visits. That's your baseline. Starting week 2, extend that interval by 15 minutes. If your baseline is every 2 hours, your goal becomes 2 hours and 15 minutes. When an urge hits before your scheduled time, don't run to the toilet immediately. Sit down if you are standing. Take 5 slow, deep breaths. Do 5 quick pelvic floor contractions. Then distract your brain with a task such as counting backward from 100 by 7s. Urgency often peaks and then eases within 1 to 2 minutes if you don't give in right away. Once the wave settles, continue waiting until your scheduled time. Each week, add another 15 minutes. Over 6 to 8 weeks, many people shift from urinating every 90 minutes to every 3 to 4 hours. That builds capacity and reduces oversensitive signaling. For nighttime, one Japan study explored what they called timed overnight voiding. Participants set an alarm to wake once at a consistent point, often about halfway through the sleep period. By voiding proactively at that scheduled time, the bladder didn't stretch as much overnight. Over weeks, this helped train the system toward less urine production during sleep hours. Participants reported their middle-of-the-night urgency episodes dropped by an average of 54%. And here's the bigger lesson. Combining approaches works best. Research comparing multi-technique programs with single interventions consistently shows that stacking methods produces results 2 to 3 times better than relying on only one. Final amplifier: reduce or remove caffeine and alcohol, especially in the afternoon. Both increase urine production, and both can irritate the bladder lining, making it react to smaller volumes. A New England Baptist Hospital study found that people who eliminated caffeine while doing bladder training improved twice as fast as those who kept drinking coffee and tea. Now you have 5 evidence-based tools to cut those exhausting nighttime bathroom trips. Seated marching and standing calf raise help prevent fluid from pooling in your legs. Pelvic floor strengthening improves control when urgency surges. Daily walking mobilizes fluid and supports lymph movement. And bladder training with timed voiding teaches the bladder to hold more and signal less often. None of this requires expensive equipment. None demands a gym membership, and none carries the side effects bladder medications often bring. What it does require is steady effort and patience across 6 to 8 weeks. Remember the stakes. Disrupted sleep was associated with a 40% higher fall risk in that large Journal of Urology study. Remember the upside: 62% improvement from bladder training in 8 weeks. The decision is yours. Accept Nocturia as unavoidable or take practical steps to change it. Start today with whichever option feels most doable. Add another next week. Within 2 months, you may be sleeping through the night again for the first time in years. Your future well-rested self will thank you. So tell us, with which exercise are you starting? Are you choosing the simple seated marching, or are you jumping straight into bladder training because that 62% figure grabbed your attention? Share your plan in the comments and let us know what happens over the next few weeks. Your story could be exactly what someone else needs to finally begin. Also, we would love to hear your story. Thanks for watching. Continue with the Healthy Aging Mastery playlist, your complete guide to staying strong, steady, and independent.